Guys of Reddit, what's the most obvious hint from a girl you've missed? Was watching a movie together on a couch and she went to lay her head on my lap. I got up to get her a pillow and blanket and set her up on the other end of the couch. In my defense, it was the first time watching The Matrix. I had a girl ask me once if I wanted to sleep with her. It was nearly a year later that it occurred to me that she might have been serious. We were at my house studying for an organic chemistry exam. Both of us were sitting close at the table with my laptop in front. I was talking her through the mechanisms and such. And she would lean on me and lay her head on my shoulder. As I kept going, she wrapped her arms on mine as I kept blabbering on. I thought I was massively friend-zoned. Which is why I didn't think much of it. We took a break to watch a movie and she suggested we spooned on the couch. I'm so friend-zoned that she's comfortable spooning with me, I thought to myself. She probably grew impatient that I wasn't picking up the signs. So out of nowhere, she does a 180 and starts making out with me. Been together for 2 years now. We took anatomy and biology in college. We used to study together. I mentioned that I had an inguinal hernia that I was having surgery on in a few weeks. She asked to see. I explained that it was right down beside my scrotum. She said she didn't care. And was curious to see what it felt like. I undid my pants and pulled my underwear aside enough that she could see. She reached in and cupped my balls and had me cough so she could feel the effect. She palpated around my junk feeling the hernia. The whole time I was concentrating very hard on other things. I assumed this was a professional curiosity. Okay. You're thinking. She could have just been a curious. And wanted nothing more. Then she asked if it got better or worse during a BJ. I replied that I hadn't been lucky enough to have my condition and a girlfriend simultaneously. She replied that I didn't need a girlfriend. Just the right girl. All while gently cupping my scrotum. I looked at her. Buttoned up. And said something about wishing I could find that person. Turns out she blew nearly every willing guy in the class. And a few of them ended up with an ST. So as dumb as I was, I dodged a bullet. She showed me her nipple piercing. By removing her entire shirt and bra. I said. Looks nice. She said. Did you get a close look? I said. Yup, they did a good job. Shirt went back on. A girl, my crush at the time, and I were at my cabin alone for a night and all of our friends were coming out the next day. When we first arrived she said, I call that bed, and I told her. But that's my bed, she then jokingly said. Well then I guess we're sleeping together. Sure enough. She throws her pillow on my bed and lays down. I then lay down beside her on my side away from her. I was incredibly awkward and uncomfortable about the whole thing. I can hear her moving and shuffling, and then I twitched my leg a little bit and touched her leg. She had gotten very close to me. I immediately apologized and moved closer to the edge of the bed. I felt like she was just messing with me because she knew I liked her. About 3 years later she told me she kinda wanted to mess around with me but thought I didn't want to. Duck. Me. But she didn't. I was 17. And not worldly wise. Went back to her hall's dorm fairly late at night. I was examining her CDs. It was the 90s. This was one of the ways you assessed if someone was okay, and turned back round to find her sat on her bed in her underwear. I said, oh. Sorry. You need to go to bed? And left. About 2 years later I was walking down the street when it finally clicked. I used to flirt with one of the female bartenders at a bar I worked at. It was really fun and there were so many signs. The biggest one that I should have obviously taken was when we left work at about 4 AM and I tried tickling her. No reaction, and then she says, I'm only ticklish in one place. She then began to rub her inner thighs near her lady parts. Basically giving me permission to go in and tickle her. I laughed and said, oh now I know how to torture you with tickles. I'll get you next shift. Drove home. On the way home, wow, did I realize what just happened. She did not like the denial and that door was closed forever. Comma. Ho, want to share a taxi back to my place? Me, sure I can drop you off then go home myself. Woke up in the middle of that night and knew exactly what I'd done. I was 22 and working as a cashier at Target. I rang out a very beautiful older woman. The kind of woman our Gone Wild stories are written about. I scan her items. Picture red card. All the usual jazz. After I give her the receipt, I turn around to restock bags. When I turn back, she hands me the receipt, smiles, and walks away. I look at the receipt and she has written her phone number. Immediately, I yell, "Why did you write your phone number?" She comes back, takes the receipt, crumbles it up and says, "If you have to ask, you are not ready," walks away. I explained to one of my co-workers, and he hit me. A girl once said to me, "Did you know that if people look you a lot in the eyes, it means that they either want to kiss or kill you?" And then she stared me down. I was very confused about why she would want to kill me if she had spent so much time talking with me. High school. 9th grade, aka freshman year. Super hot girl. My friend and me are hanging out. We go back to her place because nobody is home. After a little bit, my friend says he has to go home and leaves. Me and hot girl are sitting on couch watching some crap on TV. She turns to me and says, "Wanna see my new swimsuit?" I thought for sure she meant she was going to go get it, bring it back, and hold it out to show it to me. That didn't sound interesting to me. So I said no thanks. A little while later I left. Realized what happened about 5 years later. Another time. I'm 22. Playing on a recreational sports team. I would usually drive this one girl on our team home afterwards. On one of the drives, I mentioned that my hands were cold. It was winter. She says, "When my hands are cold, I usually put them between my legs. It's always warm down there." I thought about this for a moment and concluded that my pants were too thick to meaningfully warm my hands. I'll just put on some gloves, I guess. Thought nothing of it for years. A couple weeks later she tried again with, "Do you have a girlfriend?" "Nope." "I can help you with that." She got through to me that time. Edit, gold. You shouldn't have. My best friend and I are talking on the phone. We spend a couple of hours that day talking about stuff that turns us on, and her various sex toys. One of the things for her is the smell of cooking garlic. She then tells me she's cooking something with garlic in it. She eats whatever it is, making yummy noises while we're still on the phone. She then tells me she's going to get undressed and take a shower. She went out of her way to tell me she was leaving the front door unlocked. I said, "Okay. Talk to you later," and hung up the phone.